Welcome to Collecting Chaos. My name is James, and today I'm going to talk about a few things that you probably should have when you start collecting comics, or very soon after you start collecting comics. And I've done a little separate video on that, and we'll insert it in here. And then after that, I'll come back and talk for a few minutes. And I'll show you another short video on some things that you may want to know about collecting comics. So we'll be right back with that after this. So as a beginning collector, there's a few things you might want to pick up. And I'll explain the needs for them in a little while. But first, cotton rounds or maybe a microfiber cloth. I prefer the cotton rounds. I think they're better and they're fairly inexpensive, and you just use them once, throw them away. Microfiber cloth, you can wash it, but I'm not a fan of using that on comics. Some people like it. I'm just not a big fan of it. Another thing you need is comic bags. I recommend buying them by the 100. And my light just died on me. Let me see if I can't fix that a little bit. I think it actually has to do with this. Yeah, okay, it had to do with this. Now, I get the Comic Pro line, but any brand will work. Any brand will do. I also get the silver regular size because I have a lot of Silver Age comics and comics that were published in the in-between years before they went to the modern size. So those are something pretty important too. The last thing, of course, is boards. And I recommend buying 100 at a time on the boards and the bags both. And the reason for that is you will save a significant amount of money by buying them by the 100. Or, like me, I buy them by the 1,000 because I have thousands of comics. So that's something I recommend. And you'll use 100. Before you know it, you'll be out of them and going, wow, I thought I bought 100. Where'd they go? So those are things you're going to want to get. And it's a good, solid practice to have those on hand all the time. Things you might want to keep on hand when you start collecting comics. Bags, boards, cotton rounds, or a microfiber cloth. Or any other soft cloth. You could use a soft tissue as long as it doesn't have any scents on it. In other words, you want the unscented, like a Kleenex that's unscented, something like that. You could use that too. Let's watch the next video. So you go into your local comic book shop and you find that Tales of the Legion of Superheroes that you absolutely have to have, and it's bagged and boarded, or at least it's in a bag. Tell the person that's behind the counter you want to look at it. Okay, this is a cheap comic. It's worth $1, maybe $2, maybe $3. It's not worth a whole lot. But it might be a $50, $60, $70 comic. It might be $150 or $200. Tell them you want to look at it. And when I say look at it, I don't mean front and back. I mean, tell them you want it removed from the bag. Because once it's removed from the bag, you can see it better. You can look at it, look for dents and dings and wrinkles in the comic on the front and the back. Now this one has a lot of dirt on it, and it needs to be cleaned. And I will do that eventually. But the next thing you want to do is you want to check the page quality and the page color. Like this one is an off-white, so that's not bad. Off-white, you can't have a 9.8 in an off-white, okay? You can't have a mint comic in an off-white. It has to be white. So, but what you want to do is you want to look at each individual page. You're not reading it. You're just going through. You count the pages, and when you get to 8, you should have a staple. Okay, you should find a staple. And I did not know this was a Mark Jewelers comic, by the way. But so this one has a 9th because it has that insert. And there's the staples. I counted to 8. There's a staple. Of course, I had an extra one. I'm going to have to put this on eBay. But then you go through and you go look at the back side of it. What you're doing is making sure there's no coupons clipped, no Marvel value stamps. Of course, it wouldn't be a Marvel value stamp in this. It's a DC comic. But you want to check and make sure that the comic is complete and no panels are missing. And no panels or pages are missing. And there you go. It's complete. It's a complete comic. But now you have an idea of what the comic looks like. And let's say they were trying to get $5 for this comic. Well, you can negotiate a little bit. You can say, well, you know, it's got a lot of soiling on it, so maybe you could knock some off because of the amount of soiling. They might do it. They might be able to work with you. They might be willing to work with you. Maybe you have a key issue that has a panel cut or that doesn't affect the story. They might be willing to work with you and lower the price a little. And if they're not willing to lower the price a little, then maybe you want to go somewhere else. So that's the number one thing. You want to check your comics before you buy them. Now let's say you get it home and you've decided you want to put it in a bag and board. Before you do that, that's where you need these microfiber gauze or the cotton rounds, because you want to gently go over it, over the comic, and take any loose dust off of it. You saw the way I did that with this one. I just gently went over it like that, okay? With a cotton round, it's the same thing. If I can get this thing open. I don't know why I sealed it up again. This was a full bag a couple of days ago. I use these a lot. But I do damp cleaning as well as dry cleaning, so that's why. So you just take it and very gently go over it. I like to go in circles. It doesn't matter. You can go straight. You can do it this way. You can do it this way. You can do it in circles. I just like doing the circles. And it will take any loose dust off of it. Turn it over. Put your bag and board down and do the back side. Do the same thing. Now you see I have a bag and board here that's put together. This is not, and a lot of people will take a comic in the bag and board and they'll just insert it like that. Don't do that. Take the comic, take the board out of the bag. Okay? Take the comic, set it on top of the board. Insert the bag, or insert the board with the comic in the bag, just like that. That's the way you want to put it inside of it. Simple. Easy to do, no problems at all. I recommend changing all of your bags and boards when you buy a comic. Look at the difference. Take this old bag, throw it in the trash. If you can find a place to recycle them, recycle them. Otherwise, just toss them in the garbage. Put it in a new bag and board, fold it over, and either tape, or you can also duck or tuck the flap under, just like this. And I've tucked flaps for years. I don't anymore. I use blue painter's tape. It works real well. And that's it. Simple enough. Anybody can do it. But it's important to know the right way to do things. There you go. That's how you put a comic book into a bag and board. The best way to do it. And this comes from years of experience, believe me. I've been using bags and boards for 35 years, maybe 40. I don't know. I've been using bags since the Robert Bell bags of the early 70s. So yeah, that's the best way to do it. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned something, hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed so you don't miss a new video. I'm posting them as often as I can. And if you really want to help the channel grow, you can always go down there into the description and buy me a cup of coffee. I would really appreciate it, as right now my coffee cup seems to be empty again. Meantime, have yourself a great time, a great day, a great week, or whatever. And we'll see you later on. And don't forget my Wednesday night show, which is live, where I show comics that I've pressed, new comics that I've acquired, other things that I have acquired. And I may even start doing about a 20 to 30 minute segment at the end where you can buy stuff if you're interested in that. So check it out. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time, and I'll see you there. Bye.